What is the crack? My name is Dan. I am a photographer. I was inspired to become a photographer by Peter McKinnon. I met him in 2018 and I told him that I was about to go to college to study photography full time. That is done, it is over and finished. I got my diploma, and today I would like to teach you a couple of things that I learned that might help you do better at whatever it is you're doing. They might not, but they might. We'll find out. So here are 5 tips that I learned that I'm going to share with you, and not a single one of them requires any gear, no cameras, no computers, nothing. So let's get stuck straight in with number 1. Tip number 1 is a scrapbook. A scrapbook is a place where you can gather all your resources, your research, and document any processes that you're going through. So this is mine. This is actually book 1 of 2. Everything I did in college, all the research, images, went into this scrapbook, and I can refer back to it later. What this scrapbook did, or does, it makes it easy to inform my decision making for whatever it is that I want to do. Whether it's to do with one single subject or a particular objective, it means I can refer to the scrapbook and it will help guide me forward. Now, the scrapbook doesn't need to be a physical one. You could use a free website or even just do it on social media. It just has to be somewhere where you can gather all of the research and things that you need to help inform your judgment and your decision making. And sometimes the results can be quite unexpected. It can lead you down paths that you didn't think you'd be going down, which is great. Talking about research, tip number 2 is research. So this can be research in regards to a specific photo shoot or a subject, and all it does is help better inform you beforehand, before you even get to wherever it is you're going and you've even picked up a camera. Research will obviously differ depending on the situation. For example, if you were going up the mountains, let's say the Mourne Mountains, with your friends, you might want to know what gear you need to take. You might want a wide angle lens for some banging Instagram landscapes, but you might not want to take heavy gear like a gimbal or a big tripod. It can mean more than gear though. It could be that it's going to be raining that day. You've checked the weather, you're going up the Mournes, you're going to need waterproof gear, a waterproof bag, sturdy walking boots. Research that you do is going to be quite individual to you depending on what it is you need, where you're going, and what you need it for. You can also use your own experiences as research. Perhaps you've been to a specific location before, you know what the layout is, you know what it looks like. Last time you were there, maybe you had gear that you didn't use and you were just lugging it around, or you were there and you needed gear that you didn't have. All of this research put together is going to better inform you and help you tackle a specific job or obstacle before you've even got there. Tip number 3, and I cannot stress this one enough, print your images. People nowadays, everything's digital. You take a photo, edit it, upload it straight to Facebook or Instagram, and that photo has never ever seen the light of day. It has just been a digital file that has moved from one place to another. However, it is super important to print your images. Why? Well, an image on a screen looks entirely different than an image that's printed. On a screen it's backlit, it looks great, you've edited and tweaked and touched it up in whatever way it is, but you could print that image off and it looks terrible. If you imagine for a second that there are 3 stages to creating or making a photograph. The first third is taking the image, the second third is editing it, and the final third is printing it off. Until you've printed off an image, you haven't created an image. This is something that most people are harping on about quite a lot. Print it, even if you're not going to put it anywhere. It is a great skill to be able to use to know how to edit an image for print. It also leads into great experimentation. There are different types of paper, there are different types of frames, different image sizes that you can use, and all of these things just help better inform you as to what it is your image is for. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go out and buy a super expensive printer with loads of different inks and loads of different types of papers that are 20, 30 pounds for 10 sheets. There are plenty of places online that you can send your image to, your file. You can tell them how you want it cropped, how you want it displayed, printed with borders, whether it's in colour or black and white, and they'll ship it to you. And that normally doesn't take very long. Most major towns and cities also now have a physical place where you can go with a USB and say, this is my image, this is how I want it printed, and they'll do it for you. Normally that day, or not a couple of days. However, if you did want to start printing your own images, printers don't have to be super expensive. Even if you're just trying to learn what way to print your own images and how you want it to look, it is a skill that is certainly worth learning. Tip number 4 is constructive criticism or feedback. Now, photography, which is specific to me, it's what I'm talking about, it's an art form, and art is subjective. So really, if I was to take an image, I want it to look a certain way, my opinion matters most. However, another pair of eyes never really hurts. Someone might have spotted something in an image that you didn't. They might give you some examples of criticism that you might agree with, that might just make whatever it is that you're doing a little bit better. There are plenty of ways that you can do this. Like I just said, you could print off an image and physically show it to someone. What does this image look like to you? Maybe it doesn't convey the message that you're trying to get over, so you might have to tweak it a little bit. You could do it online. There are subreddits like Critique, where you can upload your image and people will tell you basically what they think. You don't have to take what they say on board. It is worthwhile. Someone might think it's maybe just a little bit slanted, or it's not cropped properly, the colours aren't right. And that's not to say that you have to take on board every positive or negative bit of feedback that you get. There might be some people who just say, photo's terrible. That's fine, people do that. You don't have to listen to them, especially if they don't tell you why it's terrible. People will generally say, I think this needs changed, or you could do better here. And that's great. Feedback like that is what you want. And finally, tip number 5 is reflection. When I was in college, we had to keep a reflective journal. It was just a small book that we would record our thoughts and our experiences, how we felt things went, whether we liked them or didn't like them, whether we felt we had the right gear, how we could do things better, and that just helped us move along forward and informed our decision making. I'm not saying you have to keep a diary or a journal, but you should make a point of jotting down notes whenever you're out doing anything. This can be as simple as what the weather was like, the gear you had, who you were with. Perhaps you were maybe with a group of people that you didn't gel really well with, or you had gear that you didn't even use, or you needed gear that you didn't have. And if you wanted to, you could go even deeper. Was it enjoyable? Did you like doing whatever it was you were doing? Would you do it again? Did you like the people you were with? Was it worth it? Sometimes the payoff isn't worth all the work, and it's sometimes a good idea just to make a note of that so that you can remember, because someone might say, oh, do you remember that? Let's go do that. No, I don't think so. It wasn't for me. And moving full circle, these tips, all of these things, your printed images, your critiques, your reflection, can all be put into your scrapbook, which means you can refer back to this if you ever need to know or inform yourself about how something went a year ago or 2 years ago. You might want to do it again. Maybe you experimented with street photography. You haven't done it in a while. Last time I did it, how did it go? You check out your journal and you felt, I've learned a little bit since then, let's have another go. So those are my 5 tips, 5 things that I learned in college that I feel might be able to help you a little bit. It doesn't even need to be for photography. I think these tips can be used for anything, really. Writing, cooking, whether it's, you could use them in work if you really wanted to. I don't know, it's up to you. I feel they're just super handy, super useful to use, and if you make a habit of using them, it's something that will help you for a long time. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button wherever it is, and if you want to see more, subscribe. If you have any tips as well, I'd love to hear them. Put them down in the comment section below. If you want to see any of my photos, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll put a link down there somewhere. So yeah, if you're new here, by the way, I say so a lot. I don't know whether it's a me thing or like a Northern Irish thing. I have no idea. So thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.